Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I am on which is a small moon of the gas giant Nova, added by the Kerbal Star Systems 2 mod. Here on I have 10 crew members, mostly engineers. The space has everything you need to make any kind of craft you want off-world, using the extra planetary launch pads mod. Although there are nearly a dozen Kerbals here, I still have a much bigger group of Kerbals living on Pandora. But that will be for another video, and today here I am making a large lander that is completely powered by liquid hydrogen. I'll have this lander docked to a slightly larger fusion-powered ship, which will ferry it to the Nova Kirbani B system. Over on Nova Kirbani B, I have a group of about 8 Kerbals waiting. The fusion ship was built at my orbital station on Pandora. The deuterium and helium-3 came from Nova. I used a very advanced ship to scoop the atmosphere of the gas giant to get fusion fuel. I also sent up a small fuel tanker just to refuel some of the cargo I have on the fusion ship. Here I have both ships docked together, and as you can see, it's kind of looking like a mess. The fusion ship has other cargo as well besides the lander. I have a small lander, which is also a single stage. I have a space plane, a mining vehicle, and a particle collector that can dock to the front of the ship when there is no cargo docked to the front. The ship will get up to about 60 kilometers per second before shutting down its engines to coast for something like 150 days. Upon arriving at the Nova Kirbani B system, we are going to first go to the outermost planet called Elno. Here I have quite a few crew waiting to be picked up. I have 4 crew members that are stranded on the surface of Elno as the SSTO spaceplane does not have enough fuel to get off the ground and all the way into orbit from there, since the atmosphere is basically nothing. As the 150 days go by, I will be checking on my colonies as well on Pandora and the Aethera system, but I will not be showing that in this video. I will also save the Kythe landing for another video. Today I'm just going to get to Elno, and maybe I will use the LH2 lander to rescue the crew down there, or I also have a small liquid fuel and oxidizer lander that might just be able to rescue them. The fusion ship, of course, has a large nuclear reactor, and the LH2 lander does have a small nuclear reactor to keep electricity up to cool the tanks. Although the lander looks much bigger than the fusion craft, it is quite a bit lighter considering it is filled with hydrogen. So I've decided to take the LH2 lander down to the surface of Elno. This will be a good test run to see how it performs in a lower gravity environment. The atmosphere of both Kythe and Elno are very thin, so it's okay to use a craft like this which has very fragile cryogenic tanks. If you were to land on a planet like Pandora or Syro with a craft like this, then the fragile cryogenic tanks would probably hit their stress limit. Elno is the furthest planet from the Nova Kirbani B system. It has an atmosphere like Duna's, and it has a surface gravity of about 0.46 g. As we circularize into Elno, we will be getting the lander prepared to undock and enter the atmosphere. Elno's atmosphere starts at about 50,000 meters and has a max pressure of 0.04 atmospheres. For a moment I was worried our thrust-to-weight ratio might have been too low, to land on a planet like Elno, that's half the size of Kerbin. Fully fueled, this craft has a thrust-to-weight ratio of just over 1, and that's under Kerbin's gravity. However, as we continued deeper into the atmosphere and burnt off more fuel, our thrust-to-weight ratio, of course, will rise, and we were able to successfully make a landing. Unfortunately, the SSTO with 4 crew members is quite a ways away from our landing site, so we will have to fly them here with the tiny amount of fuel that it has left. However, we also could use the lander and just fly it over to them. Next time, we will take the crew from Elno back into orbit, and we will redock with the fusion ship, which has a particle scoop module that can attach to the front of our lander, and that will allow us to totally refuel with LH2 simply from orbit. And next time we will be taking this lander to Kaith to really give it a good test. Kaith has about the same gravity as Kerbin's, but it is very dense and its atmosphere is very thin, so we may have trouble landing there with the low thrust-to-weight ratio, but we'll see. That's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching.